YouTube, social media world. It's your boy AnonymousBased, and I'm biggity back with a new reaction video. This time I'm here with something brand new from It's Complicated. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and give this video a like, share with a couple of your friends. Make sure you follow me on all my social media sites. And if you got something specific, go ahead and drop it in that comment section, man. So, we are here with something brand new from It's Complicated. Shout out to you, brother. And the name of this video is called Has Red Pill Been Hijacked by Grifters? AKA Red Pill versus Blue Pill. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it.
Do you think the manosphere might possibly be selling us the blue pill disguised as the red pill?
Nope.
Oh man, that's a great question.
Nope.
To a certain extent, I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Stop the cap.
Nah, I don't see that.
What are your thoughts on the current state of the red pill? Why is red pill dying?
I
It's
feel
not.
like a lot of the reasons is the people that promote red pill have a lot of controversy attached to them.
People's content's getting demonetized on YouTube, and a lot of the ladies and Democratic Party don't like the content.
How has red pill gotten mainstream yet nothing's improved?
I think
things
it's
have
exposing
improved.
the fact that for the most part, at the end of the day, it's all about taking it to action. So you can have an ideology, and that ideology can be very popular, but if nobody puts it into action, it's kind of useless.
Why was the original red pill documentary all about male disposability and men's rights, but the red pill movement is all about self-improvement and dating advice?
So I think it goes hand in hand. So like if you self-improve, I think everything will follow itself. But at the end of the day, it's all about personal responsibility.
Every day someone turns 18, right? And every day a young man realizes that the dating pool is not in his favor, right?
Okay.
So there were content creators who used to get those guys to buy services like coaching and things of that nature.
If red pill advocates for men, why doesn't it fight for men's rights?
Because that's not what they care about.
Why is red pill more about coping with the symptoms of men's oppression rather than fighting the actual oppression in the first place?
Same thing. It's not what they care about. They care more about male superiority than they do about like equal rights and stuff like that.
Because people who are red pill aren't in it for the right reasons. I think it was going in the right direction for a second. Kevin Samuels passed, and all of a sudden, I think a lot of overnighters came and kind of stirred it in a different direction.
I honestly think the red pill movement has kind of lost its way.
I don't know about that, man.
Initially, it had good intentions.
Stop the cap.
As of right now, it's spearheaded by a bunch of idiots, a bunch of loudmouths, a bunch of grifters, and a bunch of people that don't really give a shit about, you know, what men's rights or what.
Okay, so I guess my mic ain't working. Okay, so one thing I have noticed that I can kind of agree with about what they're saying, it being spearheaded by idiots or whatever, and you know, people coming in being loud. One thing I can say that I have noticed is that there are a lot of women coming in that are kind of making red pill content to try to give advice to men or whatever. But at the same time, it's like they're kind of remixing a lot of the topics, and they're kind of throwing in like this delusional feminist female standard type stuff too. That's something that I have been noticing lately, to where it's like, okay, why are we listening to what some of these women are saying, and none of those women really have the results? You have a few of them that have been married for a while, and they kind of understand the male side of things. But then this newer generation of people are coming in, they're not even married, and they're trying to get into this red pill space and try to tell men stuff, and they're just taking what they've already heard, and then they're remixing it, and then they're pushing it out like it's their own ideas, and then they're kind of diluting it. So I can kind of see where this guy's coming from. So he is kind of right on that.
What guys should really be doing.
How is passport bros and self-improvement not just a form of coping with men having a harder life?
It's not though.
It's just a solution, not necessarily a solution, but a way to make things slightly easier.
There you go.
It is coping. It's 100% coping, and
How?
not only is it coping, it's unrealistic because majority of American men will not be able to travel abroad to meet.
You know what's funny? So it looks like this guy right here. It looks like this guy is trying to clown on the passport bros and the idea of men improving themselves to be better. But it looked like he got a passport bro shirt on. I peeped that earlier. It looked like his shirt says something about passport or support or something like that. So I don't know what this guy's talking about, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and hear the rest of what he has to say.
Women. So it is coping.
If all women were the same because of their female nature, why would Red Pill advocate for passport bros?
Earn up to 5% cash back rewards on gas. So you
stay
can
hydrated,
enjoy
man.
whatever's next.
Changing your health takes expertise, and Zymogen has over 20 years' experience channeling that expertise into high quality.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I think you hit it on the nail. I don't think you can. I don't think you do both. Contradiction.
So then how can it be female nature and not female nurture?
It's 100% female nurture, I believe.
Well, there's two
Nowadays
parts.
it's not.
The hardware and then the software.
Okay.
Right? So the hardware will be your biology. You can't change that. So men are men, women are women. But the software, for example, I'd say would be like your culture, religion, how you grew up.
He has a
So
point.
the hardware is the same throughout the entire world, obviously. But the software might be different in other countries because maybe the girls are less materialistic, they're less arrogant, less masculine. So
Okay, he has that part he has it kind of mixed up. The hardware, which is the outside, is slightly different because women come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, and body types. So the hardware is what differentiates the women, but the software, which is their thinking patterns and their frames of reference, that tends to be the same, and the type of ideology that they operate under. Because you have feminism running rampant in the world right now. I mean, there are countries where it's not really that popular, but especially here in America, oh yeah, the feminism is strong. So you have a lot of these women that are beautiful. I'm talking about tall, short, skinny, chubby, light skin, dark skin. They come from all different types of backgrounds and religious backgrounds, but a lot of them are adopting feminist principles and ideologies. The whole, I'm gonna be a boss babe, I'm strong and independent, don't need no man. You want to be modern, but then expect the men to be traditional. A lot of that stuff is how a lot of these women today, a lot of them operate that way. And then what's even crazier is like some of the ones that are older than me, because I'm in my mid to late 30s. So it's like a lot of these women today, a lot of the older women are operating under those feminist principles. A lot of them, multiple divorces, multiple kids, talking, I don't need no man, these men, da 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 da. It's like they're the ones that are doing the most complaining, and they're not pushing it forward any solutions to try to get the results that they want. They don't believe in improving themselves. They just tell men to step up and do more, right? They're the ones that complain about chivalry not being around anymore, but at the same time, they're talking out of the other side of their neck saying, well, they don't need men for anything and that they're independent. So if you're independent and don't need no man, then you should be fine with not getting chivalry. You see what I'm saying? So he was on it in the beginning, but he kind of got it flipped. That's the hardware that's different, but it's the software that's the same, which is the mental operating system. But I mean, he had it. He had it.
maybe that could be the reason why men are deciding to go to other countries.
If Passport Bros isn't an acceptable solution when it comes to dating, why isn't it acceptable when it comes to any other grievance of the average U.S. citizen? Would women's advocacy tell them to leave the country rather than change laws?
Of course not. And at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't solve anything. Just because you move countries or go wherever does not change the inherent issues that men have.
Why is it when women complain, reforms are made, but when men complain, we're told to move or improve?
Oh, because we live in a matriarchy. Yeah, we definitely live in a matriarch.
Oh, really?
Society.
because we don't spend enough money. Society sides with the person who spends the most money. Currently, women spend 80% of the household money. They control 80% of the goods they spend in the household, so naturally, U.S. caters to the person who spends the money.
Think about even in the music, it bashes men because it makes money. Even
He
in
ain't lying.
movies, it bashes men and empowers women because it makes money. So if vice versa were to happen, the money wouldn't be there, unfortunately.
Right.
Why is shaming women seen as hate, but shaming men is seen as motivation?
It's not motivation. It's all hate at the end of the day.
I think shaming in general, to a certain extent, is necessary because it motivates you to better yourself. This might be a little crazy, but everyone's saying bring back bullying because it kind of checks you, puts you on check to make sure that you're not above anybody, you're not arrogant or anything like that, and it humbles you. So I think
I agree with him.
It protects you from yourself, and it sets kind of like boundaries to make sure you don't become an insane person or a person that thinks they can do and say whatever they want.
So then why isn't the solution to women's problems to just be better like it is for men?
Oh, because we like to pander to women. Like I said, going back to the media. And, if you lie, women buy, so.
Oh, there you go.
Why is misandry only identified when it comes from women?
Because even the term itself is a term used when one gender uses it against the opposite.
When it comes from men, it's seen as tough love. It's seen as, figure it out. It's seen as motivation, whereas if it comes from women, it's way more obvious.
But at the end of the day, misandry is misandry. Hating men is hating men. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who it comes from. If you hate yourself, you hate yourself.
Why would Myron write a book called Why Women Deserve Less while sculpting men on how to provide women more?
Because he hates himself.
Nope.
Stop the cap.
No, I can't let you get away with that one, bro. Hold on. I can't let you get away with that one, bro. You got to come on back. You can't say that he hates himself because he wrote a book calling out a lot of the issues and giving men a general understanding of what's going on. He doesn't hate women because he has a girlfriend. And he doesn't hate himself because of where he comes from. See, it's always funny when people don't understand a person's perspective, they say stuff like that. They go to the shame, the insults, the guilt, and the need to be right. It's stuff like that. This guy is probably the type of dude that be talking to himself in the DMs, hitting up girls, trying to send them money on Cash App, and trying to buy their love. And he ain't getting no play. So instead of switching up the strategy and working on himself and learning how to attract the women, he's probably the guy that's out here chasing them. See what I'm saying? So I've never heard of a solid example, at least in modern time, at least in this day and age, where a man chased a woman to the end of the earth and it worked out in his favor to where she ended up respecting him. I haven't seen it or heard it. I mean, I'm pretty sure there may be one or two examples, but in a general sense, I haven't seen it. So you can't say that this guy hates himself, because if he hated himself, he wouldn't have pushed himself to improve, get his money up, get his fitness up, learn how to dress, learn how to speak better, learn how to conduct himself, building networks and having and establishing connections. That's not a person who hates himself. That's a person who looks deep within himself to say, you know what? I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not getting the results I want in life. So what can I do, or what will it take for me to go from here to here? This guy sounds like a guy that ain't doing no self-improvement, because he don't even look like he's in the gym. I'm just saying. So if you're gonna call something out, at least have an accurate assessment of what you're speaking to. That's all I'm saying.
So if you hate yourself,
Why would Myron write a book called Why Women Deserve Less while sculpting men on how to provide women more?
Because he hates himself.
The book is referring to don't do too much for the wrong woman. That's
there you go.
Because the last thing you want to do is be used. For example,
exactly.
It's happened plenty of times in this society, is where a woman will go on a date and a guy that she's not even interested in,
just to get the food.
What I get from the title is make sure she proves herself as much as you prove yourself. And it's not a one-way street.
There you go. There you go.
If Myron admits women live life on easy mode, why would he propose that we place even more burdens upon men?
Oh, Because he thinks, oh, if men just do X, Y, and Z, we will be better. Instead, why not just fix the issues that we have, and then life will...
Okay. He's saying, why not just fix the issues that we have? Okay. So you have to give an example of how do you fix issues with how women think and how women operate in the 21st century when you got feminism, and then they have no rules basically. They could falsely accuse you. They could go on a date with you knowing that they don't like you, and they could just use you up, take your money, take your time, take your attention, take your resources, get free food out of you, and they can have like 10 dates. They can line up 10 to 15, maybe 20 dates in a week. And they have a playbook that they run down. If women aren't restricted by any type of boundaries or standards, then how can you talk about fixing issues with them when you don't even really know what's going on? If you're saying that all the issue is on the men, then how are you getting the results with the women that you want? That's the part I'm trying to get him to say.
Also, be on easy mode.
All they care about is using their audience to make money. So any advice that they give you is actually going to lead the guys down to a harder road.
That's not true.
One that's going to give them a real solution.
What is gynocentrism?
I believe that comes from a term that really focuses on hyper-feminism, a society that really embraces everything geared toward women empowerment.
Oh! So if you know that and you understand that term, then how can you say that the red pill manosphere guys are just taking advantage of their audience to make money? How can you say that when the root cause of it is you invest in yourself and gather information, and then you learn how to implement it to get the results you want? How is that being taken advantage of for your money if you're investing the money and you're getting returns on it? That's not being taken advantage of. That's called making sound and logical investments because you have a desired outcome that you're seeking. A lot of these guys don't even know what they're talking about. They're just getting on the interview and they just want to hear themselves talk. So me listening to each of these guys from one perspective to another, that lets me know who really invest the time to try to understand versus the people that just watch a couple of clips and they just make a split-second judgment. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't want to be shamed by society for going against the grain and actually standing on something that they believe in. So instead of standing out, they'd rather just fit in. And that's the type of stuff that leads to bad societies. It goes back to that whole saying about good men or whatever, good men, strong men, weak society, whatever.
Gynocentrism is basically a society that pedestalizes women.
Yeah.
Is gynocentrism good or bad, and why?
I'd say it's bad. The reason why is because you see what was going on now. Women are in delusion, and unfortunately, short term it does them well. They get whatever they want because they're being lied to. But long term, if you see by 2030, majority of women will be single and childless because no one tells them the truth on how to self-improve and how to better themselves. So I think long term, it's going to be terrible.
There you go.
Isn't telling men that they have a masculine duty to protect and provide for women really just telling men to be gynocentric?
You can say that, yeah.
No, it's not.
So then why is the red pill advocating for the very thing that they're complaining about?
Like I said, I think I said in the beginning, it just doesn't...
They're not, though.
They don't think about stuff like that.
Cap.
All they care about is male superiority.
It is our duty to protect and provide for our women. Let's say your wife or your
girlfriend. There you go.
But not necessarily treat every woman like their princess, because it's not going to happen in return to us.
Right.
We're just going to be used at that point.
What are your thoughts on the following statement? Traditionalism and feminism are two sides of the same gynocentric coin.
It's not. I spoke on that in a previous video, but it's not.
Service you expect.
I already gave my perspective on that.
Mutual, so you only pay for what you need.
I would say feminism is more on traditionalism on steroids. If you can think of a spectrum, there's like a healthy balance.
Okay.
But feminism, it definitely goes over the limit to the point, again, to where women are delusional. They think they can say and do whatever they want.
That's kind of along the lines of what I said,
Other
bro.
women I've heard say it's gotten out of hand. So it's bad when even women themselves.
Yeah, the women are even saying that it's a problem.
This thing has gotten out of hand.
Why is it when women define a high-value man as tall, rich, and muscular, we accurately label her a delusional gold digger, but when red pill men do the same thing, it's considered advice?
Because at the end of the day, like they don't think of it like that. If they hear from a woman, it's bad, but if it comes from a man, it's good.
Why is that?
Because they rather listen to other men speak than other women. They don't like women at the end of the day. Like they would.
Here we go. So look, see, I said earlier that when this guy seems like the type where if he doesn't understand something, he's gonna go to shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Shout out and rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. He's doing it right here. He's doing it right here. Here he goes. Now he's saying, because they don't like women. Anytime you criticize or call something out about what women are doing, you get responses like that. And like I said, I can guarantee you this guy is the one that be lying and pandering to women, telling them what they want to hear. And then the women feel sorry for him. So I can guarantee you, this guy ain't really getting the results that he's looking for. So he wants to shame the guys that are getting the results and teaching people how to and giving them a blueprint. He just wants to fight against it because he doesn't want to improve. And that's really what it boils down to.
Rather hear it from someone that they deem worthy than someone that's under them because they see women as
because they got the results.
I think the terminology gold digger is being misused. If you're doing your part as a woman, you have every right to get whatever man.
Yeah, you're not a gold digger.
Doing your part,
right.
But if you're completely useless and you're sitting around the house, not helping him with his business, you're not doing anything, you're not doing.
Yeah, you ain't contributing nothing.
Street, then in that case, yeah, you're definitely a gold digger.
There you go.
Why does Red Pill believe that chivalry is dead and feminism killed it?
Because they themselves aren't chivalrous. It's not dead if you don't kill it.
Men are expected to approach women, ask them out, pick them up, pay for dates, make the first move. What part of the dating process isn't chivalry?
What part of the dating process isn't chivalry? Wow, that's a great question. I believe it is. It's all chivalry. But
so how can it be dead? So how can it be dead?
Exactly. That's my point. It's not dead if you don't kill it.
So then why do they keep saying that chivalry is dead
because
and feminism killed it?
They don't practice it themselves.
See, now that I'm paying more attention, and then you're switching back and forth between the first guy and this guy, you can see the stark differences in the perspective when it comes to this type of stuff. The first guy, he understands it and he's able to break it down with his answers. But this guy, he's struggling to try to come up with a thought because he doesn't know how to really combat the logic of it. So he's just saying the first thing he thinks of. You see what I'm saying? So the first guy was able to break it down and give additional context, whereas this guy's just responding just to respond. So I just find this kind of interesting, and this is why I love content like this, and this is why I love conversations where people have differences of perspective, because I don't want to just hear what I want to hear. I want to be able to hear different things, and then I pick and choose what makes sense, and I go with what makes sense. But again, this guy is going back to the sign language, the shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. That's all it is. He's hating on the guys that are getting the results, so he wants to bash them. You see what I'm saying? But I guarantee you, if he was getting the results and he had a solid game plan and he was able to break down step by step how he got there, he would probably receive hate from guys that are just like him.
They hate the fact that they have to do it, so they say that it's dead so they don't have to do it.
I believe it's slowed down, definitely. I hear my female friends say I don't get approached as much anymore, and I tell them, hey, this is what you guys asked for. I think
they asked for it.
I think the times have changed, and now women are going to have to start approaching men.
There you go.
The Me Too movement definitely played a role in that. Men being afraid of being called creeps, weirdos.
There you go. See, this guy knows.
It's still there, but it's definitely not as what it used to be.
There you go.
How can chivalry be dead if simping is alive and well?
Honestly, I think you hit it right on the head. Simping is the number one reason, root cause for everything.
Yeah.
I think in the West, simping.
See, and with simping, the women aren't respecting it. That's the issue. Those guys, they just don't understand that their chivalrous efforts are not being appreciated because they're still under this mindset of, well, if I do this and if I give, then I know for sure I'll get something back. They're approaching it wrong. They're approaching it from a foolish mindset, whereas the guys that are taking a step back and saying, you know what? Yeah, she's not really receiving it well, so let me just dial it back. Let me not give too much, and I don't have any sort of confirmation or signal that she's appreciative of it. See, that's how a wise man moves. But the foolish man is going to continue to make the same mistake and then wonder why he's not getting the results they want. You see what I'm saying? That's why there's something called a red pill rage, because when the guys that are simping, when they finally snap to reality and they take a step back and they really start looking at things, yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, it does kind of make you mad. A lot of those guys, they do get mad. They do get frustrated. They get pissed off because they're like, wait a minute. I've been driving the wrong way this whole time. And then when they find out that they've been driving the wrong way and they've been going about it the wrong way, then they snap to reality. That's exactly why a lot of us, because we've all seen this. All of us guys have seen this. When we were in middle school and high school, you're being nice to the girls and they're telling you, oh, I don't really look at you like that. You're more of like a brother, or I see you as more like a friend. But the guys that are mean, those are the ones that get the girls. That's like your first glimpse into what the red pill really is. They don't respect the guys that are giving, because when you come in doing too much, you're automatically putting her on a pedestal and she's automatically looking down on you like, yeah, you ain't going to be able to come up here to get this. But they always give it to the guys that they look up to, not that they look down to. That's the difference.
Is at an all-time high. You have it from the low-value guys. You have it from the high-tier guys, the millionaires. Simping has taken over the world, and it's the sole reason why women are able to do what they do now.
There you go.
How can
I agree.
Inflation at the same time we're telling men they can't be average? Is that not feeding the very problem?
Man, it is, but hey, if you want that bad bitch, that bad girl, that bad female, you're going to have to pay the price, or you're going to have to talk real nice. It's that simple.
But they're not marrying them, though.
Red pill. What is the difference between the cock carousel and candy store analogies? Isn't it both genders exercising their options?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't see it. There's no difference in there.
Is a woman wanting the bigger, better deal the equivalent of men wanting the younger, hotter chick?
I'd say so.
One is hypergamy based, and I think one is just biologically based, which means they would both be biologically based. Hypergamy is the act of a woman wanting something better, and a guy's,
which is nothing wrong with that.
Learning to want something better.
Nothing wrong with that.
They're one and the same. I think they're just the deepest roots of our human psychology.
Okay.
So
I could agree with that. I could agree with him on that.
That's a wrap.
So if men and women can both be hypergamous, why does Red Pill only talk about female hypergamy?
Because if they only talk about that side, they can get their point across.
See, the main reason that they talk about the female side of hypergamy is because that's the side that's heard the most. That's what we hear about and see the most in these internet streets. But when men talk about the male side of what they want, they get shamed and demonized and they get called predators. You see it all the time. That's why there's so many memes where you'll have an older guy and a younger chick that both consent, but then you got the older chick off to the side saying that she doesn't consent and she's demonizing the older guy because she don't qualify for the older guy. She ain't the center of attention no more, and she ain't the first round draft pick. So instead of accepting your place, you'd rather demonize the guy that's making the choice because he ain't picking you. That's really what it boils down to.
Again, there's no issue with being hypergamous. I think the question that women need to ask themselves is, do I deserve the guy that I'm asking?
There you go.
And I think unfortunately a lot of women think that they're qualified when they're really not because of maybe
that's why they're all calling themselves tens.
Yeah, man. What makes a woman
hey!
is loyalty, you know what I'm saying? And devotion. You got to have those two attributes in a real way. If you don't possess those two attributes, you're not qualified for the biggest turtle. And you can't be promiscuous, you know?
There you go.
What is the alpha widow concept, and why does it only apply to women?
The alpha widow concept is a concept that a woman has an ex or maybe a one-night stand or a crush that she cannot get over. And though that she's in a current relationship with a boyfriend that's doing everything right, if that ex or the one-night stand were to knock on the door today, even though her current man's doing everything right,
she going back.
Current man and
She gonna go back.
In other words, she can never get over her ex.
She gonna go back.
If a man's loyalty is tested when he has everything, wouldn't high-value men be less likely to pair bond?
I'd say so. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
Nah.
So wouldn't a high body count show a lack of commitment regardless of gender?
I'd say so. I think the teaching
I disagree with that.
Stop the cap.
I get why. There's two sides of the coin. So the first side is we live in a society that tells you when you're broke you don't deserve a girl at all, and that same society tells you you face off and you become rich, you can only get one girl.
Exactly.
What goes on in these men's mind and why a lot of them are arrogant is, hey, I'm making up for lost times. Nobody was with me when I was alone and
when I was down and out. Yep.
Simultaneously, I do not think it's good to hump around. You can get the wrong girl pregnant. You can catch an STD, and I just think it's a whole messy life in general. And that it is better to just be a one-woman man. But unfortunately, with the society we live in, it is definitely hard to find, especially if he's rich.
If one-itis or a soulmate is bad, why is Red Pill so concerned with pair bonding?
It's a hot word right now with the pair bonding thing. It's a very hot term. I don't even know where it came from. I think it's a way to try to hold women accountable to not be promiscuous.
If dating coaches advocate for men to become the high...
You know what's funny? Is that the dude with the I support shirt and the guy with the green hat, they're both kind of along the same line of thinking, right? But if you ask them, would they wife up a girl that's been around for the streets? I can guarantee you they would say no. Or if they had a daughter or a sister, and you ask them, hey man, would you be okay if your sister was out here just busting it open for a real one all the time and just ran it up? They're gonna be like, no, they wouldn't respect it. If they had a daughter that was busting it open for a real one, they wouldn't respect it. So the same way that they're trying to say that the body count, it's almost like they believe that the body count thing doesn't matter, and they try to conflate it like it's the same on both sides, but it's really not. Which is why the women lie about it. But we gonna keep it moving.
High value guy that plows through women, aren't we advocating for men to become the very thing we condemn in women?
Yep.
We're not the same.
Contributing to the degeneracy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, I
don't think so.
Stop the cap.
Was growing up. First of all, I think it would be better. Let's say I have a son. I think it would be better for him to find a woman.
It's funny because on several videos ago, I remember It's Complicated asking women, why is it that women have a problem with a man that lives with his mom, but they're okay with dealing with a man that lives with his wife? You see what I'm saying? He's asked these women several times, would you want to be the peasant's wife or be a high value or be the king's mistress? And what do they say? They all want to be the king's mistress, which means what? They're all okay with the dude that got multiple women that can sleep around instead of being with the guy that only wants one. You hear from the horse's mouth all the time. And those words are congruent with their actions. You think these women are out here telling Chris Brown, oh no, you only gotta be with me. You think they're really telling Leonardo DiCaprio, hey, I know you're high value and everything. I know you got all these girls, but you gotta only be with me. You think they're telling these guys that? You really think that they're gonna tell these guys that in their face and they're gonna be like, okay, baby, whatever you say. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. So that lets you know that all this stuff about, oh, well, you just gotta have one and this and that. On the guy's side, it ain't the same. It is not the same.
Before he's successful, so he doesn't have to worry about the gold diggers that we talked about. But even if he is successful, I would never encourage my son to bang 40 chicks a week. I think that's absolutely gross.
If the average man is more likely to pair bond, why aren't women seeking those men?
Because there's a segment of women who want a better return, and social media has taught them that there's more out there. So why pair bond with this guy when I believe there's more out there in the marketplace.
Why does Rollo refer to the red pill as a praxeology as opposed to an ideology?
It's definitely more of an ideology.
Because it's something that you're supposed to put effort into. Like, practice makes perfect. An ideology more so is a mindset.
How is red pill a praxeology that doesn't give advice when red pillars tell men that they have a masculine duty to protect and provide?
It's not.
Definitely a contradiction, my brother.
Isn't Myron telling men to sleep with 50 women giving advice? Isn't Rollo telling men to have a vasectomy giving advice?
That's definitely advice, and I would not take. One thing I learned is, if I like a person or I don't like a person, I pick and choose what I like to hear. Versus when I hear a load of crap, I'm like, that goes in one ear and out of the other.
Yeah.
So I do watch the Fresh and Fit podcast.
Because I ain't getting no vasectomy.
Something I did not take.
If
I'm not doing no
podcasts can't find good women who aren't sex workers to be on their podcasts, why would they expect men to find good women?
I gotta stop you right there, man, because I've watched several episodes of Fresh and Fit. Shout out to Fresh and Fit. I've watched several episodes of their After Hours show, and I've watched a lot of their other content, like with the Money Mondays and everything else. I've even watched the call-in shows too. And if you pay attention, they don't always have the same types of girls on there. They have women on there from a lot of different walks of life on there. A lot of them are on this feminist, strong and independent, don't need no man wave. But at the same time, they also have quite a few women on there that believe in traditional gender roles and they respect men and they have the marriages and the sustainability and the results that these modern women want. But the problem is the modern women don't even want to take advice from their own gender that has the results. So if they're not even listening to the other women that are doing the right thing, what makes you think they're going to listen to us? They attack the women that have the results they want. They call them pick-me's. You see what I'm saying? They call us misogynistic and controlling, and the women that support being respectful to men, they get called pick-me's. But at the same time, they want to be married and have a family one day. It's crazy.
Who are wife material?
Yeah, that's a good one. They can find, because if you're a good woman, you wouldn't go to their podcast. So
that's cap.
I do believe you can find good women. You just got to get off.
There's good women that go on there all the time.
I get that question all the time. Why not bring women on there that are somewhat not on OnlyFans or somewhat not?
But they do bring women on there that aren't on OnlyFans
onto the platform to see what
average
chick in America that
y'all just don't watch
with, how she is and how she acts. I think it's because that gets the most clicks. That's the most views.
That's not true.
Is monetizable, at least until they couldn't monetize it.
It's not true,
right? And that is what sells. And these guys initially had, a vision to want to help guys out, but now it's just a grift on guys that look at these OnlyFans women.
It's not.
Stop the cap.
He's a belle, he's a boy, he's belt boy. Hotels bring him joy, he's belt.
Women and beat off to them every night,
So then aren't they promoting the very problem that they're complaining about?
Absolutely.
No.
What's the difference between OnlyFans creators exploiting lonely men for money and red pill dating coaches exploiting lonely men for money?
There isn't a difference.
See, you can clearly tell who actually watches and studies the content versus who just watches from the sidelines and has an opinion that isn't really rooted in anything that they've looked at. You can see the clear differences on full display. This is why, so far, this video is great. Shout out to It's Complicated. You knew what you were doing when you did this one, bro. You knew what you were doing. Genius, bro.
Crazy, right?
Because if you see a bunch of sex workers, you're gonna feel like, oh, all girls are sex workers. I'm hopeless.
If prostitution was legal, do you think women's attitudes towards men would change?
Yes, because sex will no longer be used as a weapon.
Oh!
So prostitution would be a game changer. Why does nobody promote it on any of these podcasts?
Oh, because society would shame them. I mean, it does sound.
Because we don't want our sisters and daughters doing it.
Prostitution, that would sound crazy.
Prostitution is always in a negative light. The word prostitution already gives people a disgusting feeling. But guess what? We have politicians that used to be prostitutes. Prostitute was the first form of
he ain't lying.
in the medieval times. Wasn't Jesus' mama a prostitute? Wasn't Mother Mary a prostitute? So
no.
It's like this has been taught through the Bibles that these people try to push on us, but yet when there's people advocating and there's girls out here advocating, men out here advocating for legal prostitution, it's a problem. But guess what? These same men is spending money on prostitutes.
But see, here's the difference though. The difference with it is that y'all don't care about the women that are the prostitutes. You're there to get your nut off and keep it going, keep it pushing. You're not there to build a meaningful connection. That's the difference. And see, the difference between the women that are prostitutes today and the women that were prostitutes in the Bible is that they understood, okay, if I go this route, I know I'm not going to get this. I know I'm not going to get the protection. I know I'm not going to get the family and the husband and the protection aspect of it. I'm not going to get the complete package. So they were just loners. They were just out there doing their thing. And women were seeing that and they're like, man, yeah, I don't want to do that. So even back then, you had women that chose that route and women that didn't choose that route. That's been around since the beginning of time. And then on top of that, ask these guys, would they want their sister or their daughter to go that route? And I guarantee you they're going to say no. They're going to say no. Ask any mother, would she want her daughter to go down that road? And they're going to say no. There's no one on this planet that's excited about getting into sex work. No one's excited about it. Like, you don't grow up dreaming like, yeah, man, I want to slide down the pole one day. Man, I can't wait to turn 18 so I can make me an OnlyFans account. You have some that do that, but they're just coping. They don't really like it. They'll smile for the camera and they'll hype it up. But then when they cut that camera off, a lot of these girls are on drugs. They got all kinds of mental problems. They cry themselves to sleep. They can't keep a boyfriend. They struggle in relationships. Like, they're fighting a lot of these women are fighting a lot of demons. And I ain't gonna lie, a lot of the guys, they're fighting demons too. But at least with the red pill content, at least these guys have an outlet to try to sort through their issues, to try to figure out how to improve multiple aspects and facets of their life. Whereas on the female side, if they're all messed up, they're just told, oh, all you got to do is just manifest that man, girl. Raise your standards. That's not improvement. That's just asking for more, but giving less in return. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't make sense.
I think a better solution would be if men had sexual self-control. I think that's the ultimate solution, but I don't think that's realistic, unfortunately.
Well, how could it be realistic when sex is a need for men?
There you go.
Well, it's all about.
There you go.
I mean, there's NoFap. I've been part of the NoFap community. All you can do is try your best. Obviously, it's a part of men. It is what it is. We spread our seed, so it's definitely a tricky subject. But I say at least give it a shot instead of just being like, "Hey, this is who I am. I'm a horn dog." Because then it goes back to the 50 women that Myron talked about.
I hear Red Pill saying that a man's...
Because here's the thing. Ask women if they want a man that can't get no play. They're going to say no. Again, you can look at their actions. Look at the actions of women and the guys that they busted open for. They don't bust it open for the nerd dude that's all shy and awkward and weird and isn't sure of himself. Women like the confident leader. He don't gotta have it all together, but if he's smooth enough and if he believes in himself enough, they're going. They're going. They're absolutely going. So this whole y'all men don't need to sleep around. Women don't go for the guy that ain't getting no play. They want the guy that knows what he's doing already. So in order for him to know what he's doing or get to the point where he knows what he's doing, he got to get play first. These women want a man that can operate like a porn star in the bedroom, bro. So this whole thing of, the guy's got to have discipline and this and that, I agree with that to an extent. Hey, wrap it up. Don't be out here busting these chicks down raw and getting them pregnant and spreading diseases around. That part, hey, I understand that. I understand that part. But if you're going to play and have your fun, at least be smart about it and, just do it in a safe manner. And that's on both sides.
Need to protect and provide comes natural. It's biological. Which is more biological? Men's need for sex or men's need to protect and provide?
It's both.
Man's need for sex.
It's both. It's both.
As far as providing, I think you have to be born and raised into providing and protecting. I don't think it comes natural.
I feel like when we need responsibility, I feel like we're created to take care of women and children, and if we're by ourselves, there's just it's like a ticking time bomb until we feel like our life is vaporous.
Why don't men need to be taught how to want sex, but men need to be taught how to be a man?
Part of being a man is definitely sex, so that's definitely a contradiction.
Furthermore, why are men being shamed for wanting sex, something that's clearly biological?
But then they get shamed for trying to get it too.
Unfortunately, it's an anti-man society. It's an anti-man society.
They get shamed for trying to get it too.
It's anti-commitment, and there's another sex that needs men to commit in order to survive the later years.
Why are men shamed to not want sex at the same time they're shamed into being a real man?
That is a good question. That is a great question, because being a real man, you're going to want sex. You're probably going to want sex a lot.
Of course, there's a limit, like I said. Don't be a horn dog, but it's completely normal, and unfortunately, we're shamed for something that we can't control.
Well, then once again, why are we coping with the injustice rather than fighting the actual injustice in the first place?
Because fighting means get off the couch. A lot of men don't do that.
Well, if men are strong and masculine, then wouldn't we be capable of doing what we say we're good at?
Yeah, biologically, men are strong and masculine, but I believe not anymore. Growing up in a single mother household, they don't know what masculinity is because there's no father in the house. And I think a lot of men, even in school, majority of teachers are female. So that's where the masculinity has been lost. And our kryptonite is feeling sorry for ourselves. And unfortunately, a lot of men rather feel sorry for themselves than to go through the pain and sacrifice of being responsible and fighting for something.
Okay.
Do you think the manosphere might possibly be selling us the blue pill disguised as the red pill?
Oh, man, that's a great question. To a certain extent, I can kind of see where you're coming from.
No, 100%. That's why, if you look at Myron and their content, they have OnlyFans numbers up there. They have their tags there where you could tag the girl on OnlyFans. If you really believed in your content, you wouldn't have the women's information there.
They promote everybody
with the same people you are anti.
Because they say, a blue pill, they'll call a guy blue pill for quote unquote simping, right? So. But at the same time, red pill also says take care of a woman, so wouldn't that be considered simping?
No, it's not.
I can definitely see the parallel there.
Are you familiar with the Whatever podcast?
Whatever podcast?
Yeah, the Whatever podcast.
The white person's fresh and fit.
Oh, him.
They bring different girls too.
Isn't it that one white dude? He's always wearing flannels who just has a bunch of sex workers on there just to get them to say ridiculous stuff.
No, he doesn't.
More options means even more affordable ideas for your bathroom.
These guys don't actually take time to look into the content and try to understand it.
Brian, who's anti-marriage, continue bringing on tradcons to promote marriage while never challenging about changing laws like Pearl did with Michael Knowles?
I think because he just wants a debate on his show. I think he just wants people to argue back and forth because it gets clicks and super chats and ad revenue.
Because it gets views. I don't think he genuinely believes most of the stuff he talks about. He just knows it's going to make him money.
I didn't know that he's anti-marriage specifically, but he does have a lot of tradcons on, and they debate with people of different lifestyles.
Yeah, he lets them rock out.
He likes that back and forth, that blood sport.
So then why do we label him a men's advocate rather than just a grifter who wants money?
I don't know how people label him, but maybe that is what it is.
So the Whatever podcast, I think that's the only thing the show's lacking. I think the structure of the show is good, but I think Brian could be a little bit more direct, and I feel like he's too chillax. And I think that's the only thing that the show's lacking, and it does frustrate me, and that's honestly why I stopped subscribing, because I just feel like on 1 through 10, he's always at like a 4. But of course, don't be at a 10 and scream at these women, whatever.
Right,
be
right,
direct and ask difficult questions. Like if he was asking your questions, the show would be way better.
Oh, absolutely.
Could it possibly be why he brought on Andrew Wilson?
That's exactly why.
There you go.
It literally popped in my head.
There you go.
That's why I love Andrew Wilson so much. He's doing his dirty work, unfortunately. He's doing what he's too scared to do.
Continue bringing on traditional conservatives to promote marriage.
Because traditional conservatives is the new red pill alliance, and I think it's just them making money together. You know, anti-women works well with Republicans. You know.
Can you elaborate a little more on that? What do you mean?
I think they purposely are trying to get those younger men to start voting Republican early by telling them that the world's against them and that they have a disadvantage, and that red pill kind of helps nurture them into becoming Republicans.
It's the same thing as Republicans and Democrats. They literally only talk about the other side so they can get their side across instead of talking about the issues with their own side. It's at the end of the day, it's all propaganda.
All right. Okay, man. Shout out to It's Complicated for coming through with an amazing video called Red Pill versus Blue Pill. Well, there's not much I could say as far as post-video commentary is concerned, because I would say this is probably like the first video where I gave an extravagant amount of additional commentary, because these are the types of conversations I like to have, because I'm always looking for different ways to improve myself and learn more and figure out ways to try to implement the new information that I get to where, you know, I can maximize on different things in different aspects of my life. But overall, I really like this video because of the different perspectives, and I like to see people's ideas get challenged to see how they fare up against what they believe in. I love that type of stuff, because anything that can help make the mind sharper, I'm going to be interested in it. Whether I watch videos about cars, I watch videos about relationships, self-improvement, I watch a lot of fitness stuff, I watch content about how to make more money, learning about investing, different ways of investing in crypto. I want to eventually get into some real estate stuff. So it's like a lot of the information that I take in, even with stuff like this, it's all to help me improve, right? Because no man wants to go through life and be a loser and have people feeling sorry for him. And that's ultimately what this type of content gives to the men that see the value in it. But overall, great video, great conversations. There was a whole lot of cap, not gonna lie, but for the most part, I love seeing these people be authentically themselves, and he's just leveraging his platform to let these people speak their mind. And I'll never have an issue with that. I always say this: it's complicated. You always got a place here. You always got a home over here on my channel. Even though you don't need my support, because your platform is way bigger than mine. You don't need my support. You don't need anything from me, but I do it because I care about what you're doing and I support your mission. So one last shout out to It's Complicated. And that is pretty much my reaction, man. So if you like the video, go ahead and give this video a like. Share it with a couple of your friends. Make sure you follow me on all my social media sites. And if you got something specific, go ahead and drop it in that comment section, man. It's your boy AnonymousBased. Peace.